Frank was here last week and so fired up that it killed him. He died. That's what the background is behind me right here. Frank's funeral. And we weren't asked to go. Instead of playing the role of Bobby was Dave Coulier. Playing the role of me was John Stamos, which I thought was very flattering and nice. And then we had Jews because we know how Frank felt about them. So
I bet you thought that was flattering.
I think it's flattering for both of us. I mean, Coulier is a good looking man. Stamos.
Like Cooley gay.
Do you think anyone's ever said that?
Yes, all the time.
Like to him.
Yeah. Like middle school, maybe.
I think he would just be like, here, smell my Alanis Morissette finger.
He'd be like, cut it out.
I love that. Like, that's what people know him at. Like, okay, what's worse out of those three? Okay, like you're Coulier, and no matter what, like you got on this show, this juggernaut of a show. You are I've watched him perform live. He's a legitimately good, entertaining comic, but because of the goofball fucking Bullwinkle, like he's like a poor man. Well, if you think he's just a poor man's Robin Williams, and I don't mean like he's good, but he does impressions that you don't give a fuck about, like Bullwinkle and Popeye. It's like no one's ever going to give a fuck about. There's no need to be able to do cartoon voices unless those cartoons die and they need a new guy. Like, you know, like the guy who worked on doing Mel Blanc voices forever was probably like, good, Mel's dead. Maybe I can get a job. That's it. Is it him or is it Saget, who's like, you know, I'm not going to, I hate to say it. I was going to bring it up later. I'll just say it right now. Never found funny. Like Bob Saget. I never did. I've seen him live and I just never found his stand-up funny. It was just too much shock for a guy with that much pull. And I get what he did. Yes, he was America's dad, this and that, but I never found it funny. But like he's the people that would go on to see him before the Opie and Anthony stuff and where they kind of rebuilt him and made people like him again. Everyone that wanted to see him wanted to see a Danny Tanner or America's Funniest Home Morons, whatever thing. And then they didn't get that. So like, what's worse, being Coulier and people wanting the Bullwinkle shit, or being Saget and people wanting the America's Dad and you're getting, I fucked the Olsen twins with my fist.
See, I didn't ever see Bob Saget's comedy until after I heard him on podcasts. So like I didn't get the shock thing of going from, oh, look, it's Danny Tanner to look, I'm fucking the Olsen twins.
But did you legitimately find his stand-up? Like, do you think there was well-written jokes?
I honestly don't remember it well enough, so probably not. If like none of the jokes stuck with me, usually if like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if I said, tell me a Saget bit right now.
No, yeah, exactly.
You're going to just get it from like the Aristocrats or something like that. You're going to think of a thing where he went on a rant about the Olsen twins and being gross.
Yeah. But he at least, I think by the end, was embraced by the comedy community as a comic. Like guys like Opie and Anthony had him on their show as like a true comic. And I know Dave Coulier gets it to some extent, but I think like the public persona on Bob, like comedy fans looked at him and were like, oh yeah. Whereas like Coulier, I would look at and be like, oh yeah, I bet he's funny. I bet they did the same thing they did to him with Saget, but I wouldn't look at him as like a comedian's comedian.
No, I don't think he's a comedian. I think he's a tremendous fellow. Obviously, I've never met him, that a lot of people got along with and we're friends with. Listen, just because I don't find someone funny I'm not that idiot. That doesn't mean they're not funny. They can be incredible. There are a lot of comics who I can say why people like. The guy looks safe. He looks unassuming. And he says outrageous shit. It's a combo that lasts the test of time. You can go on stage and have that look like you can get away with more. You add the fact that he built a resume that is like the ultimate catfish. I show up and I'm the good. You can trust me. Let me in your house. I'll be the good guy, but don't worry, parents. I'm the good. And he walks in, he's just fisting everybody because that's who he really is. You know that when you go to an open mic and you see a big scary motherfucker with a mohawk and crazy shit on his face, and he goes up there right away. Even if he's gonna do clean comedy, you're like, oh no. But this little dork walks up, little nerdy looking, unassuming little thing, and they're allowed to say fucked up shit. Because you're like, oh, wait, they're not supposed to. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like Bob was.
That is true. And like Manny's a good example of that. I feel like Manny usually gets away with a lot more. And although apparently he told a joke at an open mic that 2 comedians tried to fight him,
What?
and somebody told him it was the worst thing that happened to them in 2022. Like not jokingly, like genuinely meant it.
The joke was bad, or the trying to fight him was bad?
I don't know. I haven't gotten all the details yet. I was hoping we could get him on, but he's too busy doing shit in a hat tonight.
Well, who would fight Manny?
Somebody dumb.
Yeah.
He used to juggle. He used to juggle. You know he's got quick hands.
Yeah. And also, he's just a sweet fellow.
Yeah. Cuddle him.
Also, he loves animes, which means that he knows something about knives. I don't know what that connection is, but I do know it's there.
Just watch out before he goes Super Saiyan on your ass.
Yeah, you don't want that. But okay, or then the third person is John Stamos.
Yeah, no, I'd hate to be Stamos. God, they were like, hey, your whole thing's just to pretend like you have a big dick. And he's like, what if I also pretend like I'm in a band? They're like, all right, dude, that sounds great. God, I'd hate to be Stamos, just dripping in pussy the whole time. Mary Kate and Ashley's mother just trying to fucking blow you in between scenes.
No, and you're right. And that's what I'm saying. You're Stamos. So therefore, that's what I was going to say. And you think it's harder because what you hear of, I mean, I don't know him, but I've met people that met him. And they've all said the same thing. The most humble, grounded, down-to-earth, handsome man you ever met. Like for a guy, and I think admittedly he would say he knows he's not a good actor. He's a handsome person who has fallen into things and kind of David Hasselhoffed his way into life. Like where it's like he gets roles, you remember the roles, but you're never like he's good. And you've never watched him and said, wow, he really he's no Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know what I mean? Like, you don't forget who he is. And you're like, what a great character. You're like, oh, it's Stamos playing the drums, or it's Stamos selling yogurt. Because I don't remember anything he was in besides Full House. I know he was in things, but like, what the fuck was he in besides Rebecca Romaine Stamos? Like, hey, yo.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So that's when people talk about him, they're like, yeah, he was handsome, but he has no respect. Like people respect the acting of Dave Coulier more than Stamos's. So would you want to be, and I know you're saying, oh, he's pretty and gets laid, but like, it's got to suck when you know that no one respects your talent.
What do guys do anything for? What is the motivation behind a guy doing anything?
See, you're going to say pussy, but I don't always think
pussy.
I think pussy. Yeah, yes and no. I don't think it's pussy. I think it's more of the stature of being able to get pussy or money or things Fair like enough. That. So not so much just the sex, but yes, the ability to be alpha fuckable. In a room.
To be fuckable. Yeah. To be the most fuckable. Stamos wins that battle 1,000 times over those other two. Even though, like, again, it's like the same idea of like if you were in the room, right, with a guy who's been doing comedy a year but looks like fucking Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
I've been there.
Right? Like after the show, now your comedy is very funny, so it's not going to be the same as like if I went up there, but it's probably going to be like 50-50, you and him. Maybe swing his way a little bit. Like me, it would still be like 75-25 him. But it doesn't matter about the talent. It's, you know what I mean? Like the whole picture. So I think the whole picture, Stamos wins.
It depends. So you say that, but I've gone into that thing. And I've actually gone into it cockily before. Like I've gone to do shows. Like there was years ago when I did a show in Maine. And I walked in and there was a couple really like pretty girls at the show. And they didn't know it. There was no flyer or anything on the show. They didn't know that I was the headliner on the thing or whatever. And I'd walked in and a girl backed up as I was walking in and she bumped into me and I said, excuse me. She goes, you better excuse, ew, don't touch me. And the other girl goes, ugh, what are you doing here? Like literally said that to me. What are you doing here? And I was with another comic and all I said was, well, you know, why don't you come see me after the show? And I walked away and went into the back in the green room, whatever. And the show went on and I did my thing and did well. And afterwards, and the two girls acted like they came up. You were hilarious. We were joking before. You were so great. And like not even talking to the two guys that they were with afterwards because I had just alpha mailed the fuck out of that room. So that's kind of what I'm saying with the Stamos and Saget and Dave Coulier thing. Yeah, Stamos is the most handsome one. But when women watch that show, mothers that watched it with their kids, I think they were more drawn to Danny Tanner than they were to whatever the Uncle Jesse.
Oh, fucking shit.
I do. I think because they saw like the dad not the creepy uncle who fucks and then moves his wife. First of all, if you think about the cuck that he was in that, he moved. Yeah, his girl was hot, Lori Loughlin, but he moves her into the house with everybody else. It's like, do you have $1?
Trying to find somebody. Trying to find somebody old enough to call on this.
I mean, I don't understand why John Stamos even did any of that. Couldn't he just live off the Social Security of his ex-girlfriend?
Probably, but it's
I hear it's the thing people do now.
Do you think Stamos is the opposite of Pete Davidson? Like because he's so humble and nice and like knows he doesn't have any talent. Like I feel like if Stamos started dating Kim K right now, like Kanye would be thanking him for helping raise his kids so well. Like I think Stamos is that type of guy.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Stamos would date her, first of all, because he doesn't seem like I know it's weird to say. As much as he's famous, he's not an attention whore.
No, he's really not. I think
read about Stamos. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? There's no he married a famous woman. She left him and married another famous guy. You never heard a battle. You never heard an argument. Him and Jerry O'Connell never fought or did they ever. He seemed like it was kind of like when Bruce Willis first broke up with Demi Moore, and like you can see Bruce Willis chilling with Ashton Kutcher, and you're kind of like, what the fuck? And you realize that was a bullshit, and they were just doing that for the cameras. But like, I think Stamos is nothing like Pete Davidson. Still, you can tell, loves the attention of this. So it's kind of, he feels like he's in a reality show. But also, Pete Davidson looks like, Eminem and Buscemi had a baby. It's a weird fucking combination of a human being. But like, I just think Stamos was never supposed to be famous. He was just supposed to be the best looking guy at a diner.
Yeah, and he lives his life like that.
Yeah.
Like very much, it reminds me a lot of Gino Bisconti. Just very happy to be where he's at in life. Not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not pushing the universe for more. I'm just thankful for what I've got.
And even though you're a handsome guy who just tries to live his life, people tell you you're gay. And then you're old. Like I think Stamos the same way as Gino would just sit there holding a cat and going, "Yeah, I'm gay," and also just laugh it off. Yeah, because he knows he's not, and he can fuck your mom or your wife or whoever whenever he wants to.
Probably sends you naked pictures of your wife right now.
Right now, he can probably sketch them for you, which would be gayer.
Are you team Ye or you team Pete?
I don't care.
Oh man, I have been loving every second.
I don't even really know everything that's going on. I just don't care. I like Kanye's music more than Pete's comedy.
Kanye is treating this breakup like I would have treated certain relationships in my life if I had money, and it is fantastic.
Like, is he getting? I don't know anything. Is he getting like visible? Is he out loud yelling shit? I don't really know anything.
So the first thing that happened was he got kicked out of the house, right?
Yeah.
So what does he do? Buys the house across the street.
I heard that, and it's not even a nice house.
No, it's just so he can be there for his kids, man. Kanye just wants to raise his kids. He wants
Nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly.
That's a good dad.
And then he did start a rumor at one point that Pete Davidson has AIDS.
Listen, I look at Pete Davidson, I think possibly HIV.
Yeah, and I pointed out the last rumor Kanye started, Drake had a kid with a stripper in Atlanta. And what happened there? Oh shit, turned out to be true.
Yeah, it wasn't a rumor. He was just telling people know what's going on.
Then he was like releasing texts.
Now, is there proof that he said Pete Davidson has AIDS? Or people saying that Kanye said that? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
there have been like several people who came forward and were like, yeah, he said that. There hasn't been a quote yet. He did have a verse in his song where, Kanye was in a terrible car crash where he almost died. That's where the song Through the Wire came from.
Right.
He does have a line in one of his songs with The Game that just came out where he's like, and I know why God let me survive through the crash so I could live to beat Pete Davidson's ass. And it's just very funny because he's handling it really like an immature child.
No, that's rap. Like Eminem said, Chris Kirkpatrick will get your ass kicked. It's a fun rhyme.
Yeah, no. It is. It is. What else has been going on? Oh, he started a rumor that Pete and Ariana Grande, when they were dating, sent intimate pictures to Mac Miller, and that's why he killed himself.
I can see that.
Yeah. Again, none of these are like everybody's out there like, oh, Kanye's crazy. Like none of these are that off base.
Well, I mean, Pete Davidson, when he was on Saturday Night Live, did that whole thing about how, he's on meds and it's okay. So Kanye cut the shit, go back on meds. I mean, took shots at him before he was fucking. You do that on Saturday Night Live and then you fuck the guy's wife?
Oh, that's a good point, dude. That is, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, it's not just Kanye being Kanye. Pete Davidson, yes, he's on Saturday Night Live, a comic, but has many times said he's a fan of Kanye, but then also taken many shots at him. Yes, it was on Weekend Update because Pete Davidson doesn't play a character or act. He just goes on there and goes, and just says shit and goes, I know Michael Chase sometimes, and that's it. But like,
I connect to the youth.
Yeah, you guys hear my dad's still dead? It's like, okay, that's fun. But it's just like, I mean, Pete Davidson's also a guy chasing, the hugs of his dad his whole life. That's why he's just trying to bang out of his class and be able to say, I can go battle with, all these people. He's also the guy that a couple of years ago was being a train wreck so much that like in Connecticut, like he ruined the whole comedy show on a Monday night because he just wouldn't perform because he didn't like the green room, whatever. So he's obviously a bit of a diva and a baby too. And they're both battling over the biggest fucking diva in the world, a thing that shouldn't be famous, Kim Kardashian. They can all go fucking, as Kanye said, go get in a car crash and die. I'd be fine if they all had AIDS. I'd be fine.
Team EA, baby.
I'm going to choose someone. I'm going to choose Kanye because I said, if I have to, all I know about is their art. And I will take Kanye's worst album over Pete Davidson's best comedy special any day of the week.
I can't wait until Kanye comes out and he's like, and you want to know the worst part, y'all? He's a comedian. That's like the Diet Coke version of rap. This shit don't even have to rhyme.
You know what I can wait for?
What?
When he shows up at like Kanye's church thing he does. And they're all Davidson? And he's wearing all white and they dance around to make up for everything and just go, it's all good. And they just dance around.
I don't know if I see that happening.
Well, Kenny G went.
Yeah, well, Kenny. Hey, it's me.
I was waiting.
Yeah, I went. I did some ungodly shit in the green room, though. Trust me, Kanye wasn't missing Kim at all before that performance, if you know what I'm saying.
I was rubbing his Kanye chest.
Road goat.
So I guess what I'm saying is if I had to choose to be one of them, I'd be Coulier.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'd be Saget because then I'd be dead.
Well, okay. Are you being them? That's why I chose Coulier because I wasn't dead. That's why I chose him. But are you being them? If you're going to be one of those three, are you them but with your mind? Or are you them all the way?
Ooh, I think you're them with your mind.
Okay, then I definitely want to be Dave Coulier. Because I've already got the ability to just tour the country and do comedy. Kind of unassuming. And just go around and live that life, knowing audiences will draw in, not the greatest, but fuckable women. Women that will blow. People might yell weird shit at me, like cut it out, but I'll deal with it. It's okay. It grew me who I was. Stamos, I would, because it's my mentality, I would never believe anyone actually liked me.
Yeah.
Because I would know what it feels like to be a pretty woman. And I'd be like, you don't like me for me. I wouldn't know what to do. And Saget is dead.
Which one was the Coke whore daughter?
The Coke whore daughter?
Didn't one of them have to go to like rehab?
Oh, you mean of the Full House girls?
Yeah.
I think Stephanie was the one that I know she had big tits and had them reduced and stuff.
I'd want to be Stephanie.
Yeah. Yeah, because the other one became like she was on The View for a little bit. She married a hockey guy. Like, yeah, it's all shit. No. She's like fake Alyssa Milano. She did the same, except for the crazy politics, but the same kind of shit.
And then Mary Kate and Ashley are like just way too much work. Every day they have to like wake up and think about not eating and like getting all dolled up and shit.
Well, I think it's hilarious that you look like something Helena Bonham Carter shit out, but you also make fashion. It's like you can't even wear clothes.
Yeah, you look like a hairless cat stuffed into a designer dress.
Yeah, they're weird looking. And then like I think it's even weird that people watch that show. Isn't it weird when people watch a kid's show? It's not a kid show, it's a TV sitcom. But when there's kids and people like can't wait to know what they're gonna be like when they're 18. That's the creepiest thing. Like people couldn't wait. And because I've never understood the twins thing. When someone's like, oh yeah, twins. Like, why would two sisters want to have sex together? They're sisters.
Also, it's always just chew on one in an argument.
Yeah, I never understood. Are you attracted to, would you want two of them?
I mean, that would be fun.
I mean, I did date a twin once, but I never met the other one. But like,
No,
it's okay to
I
date
don't.
a twin, but you don't have to meet the other one. You know what they look like.
Yeah,
So,
and they have that telepathy shit, so they always know what you're thinking.
and that's fine because women always tell me they know what I'm thinking anyway.
I feel you there.
Yeah, I mean, the last person I dated was just telling me the other day that she knew everything I was gonna think in the next couple of years. So I was like, okay, well then, I guess we're all done. I don't need to say anything else since you know everything.
It is funny though how like you can do that, but women will do that, but at the same time you can like tell them something from the beginning, and then like it still comes up.
You can legitimately tell them openly and honestly everything about you and say, hey, here's everything, all my wounds, all my cuts, everything in life. I'm laying it out in the line to let you know. And they openly accept it. And then a month later go, I don't like any of that stuff.
Nah, yeah. That's not even what I necessarily meant. I was more thinking, I got so mad this weekend just thinking about Coda over and over and over. And like all the fucking, like, dude, just think about like yourself. And I was thinking about me, obviously, like all the shit I've sacrificed or given up over the years for comedy. Like, honestly, I think I've cut myself out of pretty much every friend group. And the thing I was thinking of in particular is, the number of times I've had the conversation of we shouldn't date. It's going to end with you saying you're spending too much time with comedy and not enough with me. And I'm going to go, you're not going to like that, giving me that ultimatum. And then like 6 months later, they still give you that ultimatum. And all those sacrifices, you know where we've gotten? Fucking nowhere. And then if you're like, would you do it again? Yeah, fuck yeah, in a heartbeat. Like, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I think I got so irritated about Coda, because it's like we've given up, and obviously there are people who have done way more than I have or you have, but for nothing. And I would do it 1,000 times over because I've enjoyed it every second of it, And it's just like that bitch walked into the ocean. Fucking stupid.
It's not real.
Isn't it?
Coda?
I mean, not that in particular. The Awakening was real. That bitch walked in the ocean.
I think a lot of people walk in the ocean.
That's true.
Like, isn't that how they get rid of old Eskimos?
I don't know, dude. I'd be like, fuck you.
Well, they don't
Like,
do that. One of those cultures puts them on a raft and just sends them off with flames on it and just like, see ya. But they're still
That's
alive.
the Vikings. I think they're already dead at that point, though.
No, I think like the Eskimos do it with the live ones.
What the fuck?
Like, they're not like burning it, but they like put a little fire so they can stay warm. But they're like, we don't need you in the village anymore. You can't provide. So there you go. Here's your ride.
I don't like that.
I kind of like it.
Do you?
I do. I think that'd be my.
I feel like comedians are the first ones who end up on that raft. Like, you know what? You're not really contributing anything to this culture.
Well, because I couldn't get 4 bringers to the igloo show. It's fucking fine. But like, if my choice is, and I don't want to shit on them because
I brought 15 and couldn't even get an email back. What?
Yeah, what the fuck? I got told that before I get put on the raft that I can call you a week later. You can tell me how I can raft better.
And you're like, before I get any instructions from you, I kind of want to know where you think my rafting stands, because I really don't respect the opinion of you.
And even though I've seen your rafting and it's no good, it's like bullshit. And you would never get any rafting gigs unless you booked your own raft hut. It's like, no, it's bullshit.
And you did stupid things like refusing to tell the 20 people waiting to get on the raft what order they'd be getting on the raft in, just so you could feel a sense of power you felt nowhere else in your life.
Yeah, and it's almost like you don't even care about the course of the raft. It's just more about the money that got brought in from said raft.
Yeah, and you have all these promises of what'll happen once people get on the raft, but you're yet to see any of that come to fruition, except for one autistic who ends up on the wet spot every Monday night.
Yep. And then you've got a raft, and you have pictures in front of the raft with people that are famous that never really went on the raft, but happen to walk by the raft, and they look scared like they don't know who the fuck you are, and you tell people they're your best friend.
You say you put pros and amateurs on the raft, but the night you were on the raft, there were only amateurs. You didn't see any fucking pros.
And then you called yourself said pro rafter, which I don't really know if that's what you are.
Maybe
that's
like
That was a weird
Procure,
fake scenario that isn't real that we just made up out of it.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Nuts. It's insane. But okay, getting back to that part, what would you rather be? Like, as much as we love him and we're talking about him, would you rather be Frank and 80 and everyone always telling you you're 80 and being shocked that you just do normal everyday things? Or 20 years earlier, get put on a raft and hope for the best?
Dude, I'd be Frank. Frank's the healthiest 80-year-old I've ever seen.
He's not healthy.
Well, I don't want to end up on a raft. I do think there's a point where you have to realize like you're done contributing as much, but I don't think like a doctor who took care of me well into his 70s just passed away. And it's like, was he able to still do the same level of medicine he was in his 40s or 50s even? No. But he was still able to contribute in some way. Like, think about comedians.
Why are you going to a doctor who can contribute in some way? That's not what you do for a doctor. They have to contribute all the way. A doctor?
Yeah. His name was Dr. Silly. So
Dr. Silly?
Mm-hmm.
No, for real, like Silli? Why? I mean,
no. It was like, I'm not going to spell it because I don't want people to look it up and know what I was going to this doctor for. But it was like with a C.
Wait, he did something more, not just regular checkups?
No, like he was a specialist.
And then he could only kind of do it? He's a specialist, but he was too old to do it?
No, I think he transitioned later in his career. He was a surgeon, so I think he transitioned later in his career. Not that kind of transitioning, although there was one of those at the hospital that now works for the federal government. Anyway, moving on from that. He like went into more of a specialty field. Yeah, the Rachel Levine worked at the same hospital as him. So like I think he was like, what the fuck?
Well, everyone that watches this show knows that you can guess whatever kind of doctor it was. You know, it wasn't a therapist.
Definitely wasn't a therapist. No,
you know that right away.
I did have a therapist for like, I think it was 4 months.
I thought you never did it.
Well, I mean, I never did it, but I had a therapist.
What?
There's this thing called BetterHelp. And sometimes you're in a relationship and the girl's like, this is over if you don't go see a psychiatrist.
Oh, so you did the online thing, BetterHelp?
Yeah. But then here's the beauty of BetterHelp. You just can show them a statement and be like, yeah, I'm paying. And you don't ever have to talk to that bitch.
Oh, you guys weren't doing it together.
Fuck no.
I was in one relationship where they wanted to do therapy together, but then I realized right away that it wasn't going to be the two of us doing it together. It was going to be somebody saying, this is what's wrong with him. And I wasn't for that. If I was going to be in one that was really two people trying to make sure we communicate better, I'm all for it. But that's not what this was going to be.
No. And like, the type of person who becomes a therapist is going to tend to see the things the other person's way, in my experience. Like a lot of the issues that would come up in this particular one would be like, sometimes you say things like, hey, you just got to suck it up and get through it. And like, it seems like therapists would be like, no, that's a valid emotion. You should turtle and, I don't know, go to community college and become a therapist.
There are times that therapists will say, you got to suck it up.
You know who my therapist would be? C.T. Fletcher.
I don't think he would do much therapy.
That's what I'm saying. He would just be like, hey, you know what you should do? Some fucking curls.
So you should have David Goggins.
All you motherfuckers at home talking about my form. At least I'm doing something.
David Goggins would be amazing at that.
That would be great.
Get hard, motherfucker. Stay up. Stay hard, fucker. Run, you fuck. Wake up, you bitch.
I feel like Vince Vaughn would be a great guy like that too.
Yeah.
Dude, I think you're right, man. This is pretty stressful. Yeah, smoke a J. Why not? Figure this shit out.
There you go. I get why you shit on therapy, and I get all that. And I was shitting on it forever. And I don't want other people. I hate that. Like years ago when I was first starting to therapy and meditation, and I would see people when I was still on Twitter, and then people would write things like, I'd share one thing, and then 8 people were like, the worst thing in the world is somebody pushing meditation on people. I'm like, I've never once pushed it on anybody. I don't give a fuck if anyone else does it. I don't get points. Like there's not like a referral card that if I get 2 guys to sign up, I get a free session or some shit. I don't care. But for me at the time I was in my life, it made sense. I needed it and I'm open to it. But most people don't want to do it. But that being said, if somebody was trying to like shoot their own agenda at me, like I have a buddy I work with, and he was telling me the other day, he had a therapist who was QAnon,
Oh
and
yeah.
they wouldn't stop talking about it. Like literally, he'd have like start to have a breakthrough and be like, "This is why I think I don't trust." She goes, "Put a pin in that. Have you seen?" Get
Hell
into it,
yeah,
and
dude.
he's like, and he goes, "I don't care about QAnon." He's like, first of all, the guy's name's not QAnon. He's Q, and the anon are the people that follow. He's
He
like,
was like, that was a test. You passed. You're in. Let's talk about this
he's
shit.
like, I don't like this. He would tell people, they're like, "We don't believe you because there's no way your therapist is a QAnon." I was like, "Well, somebody has to be. They
That's
can have
true.
other jobs." But that would be insane if somebody just started breaking that up. It's like, oh, oof.
I can't imagine why a therapist would be susceptible to Q. Like, it's such a crazy thing where it's like, hey, everything you've been taught your whole life, here's an answer. Just don't think about it at all. I have all the answers. Just listen to me.
Well, that's like when I was in the big time when people wanted me to do therapy, and people, I love when people want you to do it. You need therapy because they're just not happy with themselves. They think they can fix things around them. That's why they want it. When people think therapy is a fix, that's when it doesn't work anyway. But like, I don't want to get into all that. But my favorite time about all that was when that book, The Secret, was a big deal. And then people were just like, you just need to read that. You know,
Yeah.
first of all, it's not a secret because it's a book. So they kind of ruined it. Like we all know it's there. And dude, nobody has the answers. We're like the worst we've ever been as people ever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. But I
Like
think
we've
part of that
advanced
is,
technology wise the best we have. But as people, as the species that's supposed to just mate, reproduce, and like just and hunt and fish, we're so far away from any of that that literally someone spends their whole life looking for stamps. Like, that's what you do. You just like you grow up, you do that. It's like, what do you do? I make this good potato salad that everybody likes. Like that's the animal that you are.
yeah.
That's what
It's
you've become your whole life.
it's it's like, what's that book? The Epic of Gilgamesh. You ever read that?
No.
So basically, it's like one of the first books, and Gilgamesh is this king, and he's like acting a little crazy, and the people are like, "Yo, we need some dude to kill Gilgamesh. He's acting wild." So they find this guy named Enkidu, right? And he's like Gilgamesh's twin or something, and they seduce him with a concubine because
Why did their
he's.
mom name them that?
I think that was like common names at the time.
Gilgamesh and Enkidu?
Yeah.
Those are
So
the
they
worst
seduced,
names.
but Enkidu was a wild animal. Like he was still a wild human. He wasn't like
Oh,
a
he was not
civilized.
a wild animal. He was a human, but you're saying he was just nuts.
Yeah, but no. Like he hadn't been civilized yet. That's what the whole symbolism
Oh,
of the
okay.
book is. Like he is like a
He was like
beast
Pharaoh.
human. Yeah, essentially.
Nice.
And then they seduce him with a woman, and then he realized like he has to die then. And it's like the whole idea of once you realize you have to die, everything changes. And some people freak out and like collect stamps to not think about it. And then there are some people who like seize the day and like are like, I'm just gonna work so hard that I can do the most I can in my life. And then when I die, I'll feel like I did everything. You know what I mean? Like that's what life is literally figuring out how to deal with the thought of I'm going to die someday.
I think it changed a little. And I know this is going to sound like a stupid beginning, but stay with me.
I'm with
I
you.
think with the introduction of social media, more people embrace the idea of death. And the reason why is because now they have something to post to get likes about. And I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. Before the ability to tell the world you were going to die, most people, when they found out they had an illness, kept it close to the vest. They worried more about their families' feelings being hurt, how they were going to deal with things around. But now I'm sure there's people in their families that find out the same time strangers do that somebody has cancer because it was in their Facebook post, and they want likes and they want you to donate to the charity they chose so they can get fucking some algorithms going. Like literally, I bet you there are people who are like going to the doctors hoping something bad happens so they can post about it and take a picture in the doctor's office going, look at me, I've got a venereal disease or whatever. I mean, not a venereal, but you know what I'm saying? I think it's helped people embrace it because they're even hoping that people want to take pictures or do a Facebook Live at their funeral.
I mean, I definitely see that to some extent. I also think like religion obviously helps a lot of people with that because it's like this isn't the end.
If people truly get into the religion and not the part where they're just like, I just like to brag that I'm religious and bully people with my thing. If you really take it in and you're like doing it for yourself to go, I believe that this is not the end. because people fear nothingness. People fear an end. When most people are worried about death, it's because they don't understand. Their mind can't process not existing. Like when I've said this before on here, but I think when you ask 9 out of 10 people when they're, what's it like when you're dead, they'll say to you, well, it's like all black. And it's like, well, no, there's no color, there's no existence, there's no color, there's no nothing. They're like, well, but in their head, they think like eyes closed, dark room, but they still think they're existing. It's just nothing and it's silent. No, there's nothing. You are not there. If you believe that when you die, you're just dead. And I think most people are like, that's insane. That's almost, that makes you freak out. So therefore, religion and other beliefs and, reincarnation and anything that can make you go, it's not the end. So ease your mind so you don't freak the fuck out when you find out you're going to die.
Yeah. And I mean, this would be the second podcast I hijacked with Nietzsche in the past 2 weeks. But that's literally his whole thing is like, you basically have two choices when you come to that conclusion, right? You can be like, I'm going to work today for tomorrow's satisfaction, right? Like I'm going to do what I'm told to do so that I get rewarded in heaven. Or you can live by your own rules today and like be a good person because you think you're a good person. And it's like a real philosophical battle. And I think like the whole thing is like, even if you don't, my whole family is religious, obviously. I mean, you've seen enough of that. I don't like to talk about it a ton because our whole philosophy, and I think it's a beautiful one, is like nobody should know what you believe because you told them.
Like, they should know because they observe.
Yeah, and be like, how do you act like a good Christian? I don't know. Look at Dr. Tamburo. Like that's the poster child. He's generous. He's, you know what I mean? Like he thinks of others before him. Like that's what you should go for. Not like, oh, look, Dr. Tamburo's got a cross tattoo on his back and wears a crucifix around his, you know what I mean? Like it's more about the action. And like, I think that's what most people need to focus on is doing good and putting good into the world.
If that's what they want to do with their lives. And I think that's the problem sometimes with the whole what we perceive as good and evil and things like that. Now, I'm not saying if you're a murderer, you should go out and murder, but it is your life to live. And when it ends, it ends. And if you don't want to be a good person, like you do whatever you have to do to get through life. And I don't think we should judge anyone on it. Yeah, if they want to be a pedophile, they should be locked away. That's not okay. Like something where it's harming other people shouldn't be your thing. But if somebody says it has to get through their day because they just want to do dumb like I've talked about this before on stage, and I've actually tried to write things about it. Like if somebody wants to look for Bigfoot, fucking go for it. And if anyone's like, you're wasting your money, well, it's my money. What do you care what I do? You're wasting your time. You should be building these relationships or advancing in this way or do it. Why? I'm alive. I'm here. I want to look for Bigfoot. It makes me happy. I know I'm never going to fucking find him, but you're never going to fucking find happiness or love or joy or all the things you want to connect with, whatever. And if you do, you're chasing that thing. Whatever you're chasing is fine. If you're 40 something years old and you want to go back to school and you think that's going to be a good thing, but then like 10 years later, you get in a car accident and you never advance in that job, you still did a thing to get to that point. Because you thought it was going to better you. But if I think finding Sasquatch is going to better me and then we can hang out, and if I never do find him, but along the way I keep myself happy and occupied, then who gives a fuck? So if that, to me, anything can be religion.
Yeah, I know. I definitely agree with you. I get that. I think there is something about like some people and myself fall in this category of like, you should do something good. Like the whole idea of like, leave the place.
Well, good for who?
For everyone. And I guess like it comes up
but
to you to figure out
from your perspective of what good is.
Right, exactly. But I think at the end of the day, if you live your life according to what you believe is good and will be good for other people, you'll feel content. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if you're actually doing good in the world. Like if you believe finding Bigfoot and tracking Bigfoot is going to help humanity, like I think you're going to wake up every day with a different sense of passion for what you're doing than if you're like,
if you do care about humanity, but you might just care about fucking finding Bigfoot.
That's fair too. That's fair too.
I look at life like I want to make sure that the people around me, the people I care about, know they were cared for. I think that's very important to our psyche. You, at the end of the day, no matter how hard of an ass you want to act like you are, it feels wonderful to know that people give a fuck about your existence, that people give a shit and do think about you, and you're not just sitting there never being thought about. I want to make sure that my kids have been told every day of their lives that they are loved, and I will tell that to them at the end of their days. And when I die, there will be things written and recordings said for them for the rest of their lives to know that their dad always loved them and will always believe in them even when he's not here. But I don't care if other people think I believe in them or not. So it depends on what you do. Like, I will do the best I can to make myself happy, because that when I'm happy, I make people around me happy and I care about them too. When I like me, I'm better for everyone else around me. But I don't care if I do good if someone else is not going to return the favor.
That makes good sense. And I speak a high game and then I act like a dickhead, which brings me to my story I have for this week.
Nice.
Which is I had a meltdown on a Grub Hub.
Why did you say you got Grub?
Grubhub. I was making sure it was the right app. A Grubhub customer service chat. Now, like several times I've ordered food, and you know how it is here. We have a 30-minute window now. Like I have a 30 minutes between shows. It's not as tight as I like to make it out to seem, but it's important that like, hey, if I order it and it says it's going to be here in 30 to 35 minutes, perfect. Boom, I can eat and then not be in anybody's way.
Right.
That's the big thing. So like 3 or 4 times now, it's been like an hour when it said 30 minutes or like an hour and a half even. And on Monday, I ordered a energy drink because I was dying. Like I was asleep. I just needed one. It was like, hey, 7-Eleven's 10 minutes away. I was like, perfect. 30 minutes goes by, nothing. 60 minutes goes by, nothing. I start a customer service chat and I go, what's going on? You know, and I explained the situation. She's like, I'm sorry, you know, this happens. We're out of drivers. And I'm like, how does that happen?
But how do I not get a message an hour earlier?
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, thank you so much for your wide understanding and patience.
Ooh, wide.
And I said, are you calling me fat now? She said, no, Robert. I said, then why would you say wide patience? That would imply fat, no? She said, I'm sorry, Robert. Oh, hang on. Thank you so much again for your understanding. Is there anything else for you that you need from me? I said, I didn't like that, but I think I see what's going on here. Hang on. These are all out of order. Give me 1 second to get this in order.
I do like wide being used in that way. Your wide pay, I think it just means like vast or your wonderful amount of patience.
Yeah, it's clearly not an English speaker, but
no.
Here's where we're at. So she said, no, Robert, we're not like that. Because I said, you know, it would imply that you're calling me fat. I said, it certainly feels like you're like that. She said, again, I'm very sorry. I said, my friend Luby works with me and she's skinny. She just put in her order and already has a driver assigned. She responds with that to, I'm sorry, your order from 7-Eleven has been canceled. And I go, oh, I see what's going on here. Now we're just going to fuck with the fat guy, huh? For starters, we'll make his donuts take an hour longer than we said it would. And then we're just going to cancel his order when he gets frustrated about it. Because who's he going to bitch to? Nobody's going to listen to a fat guy complain about not getting his donuts. She was like, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, and then I asked, I said, I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau on you. What's your last name and where can I serve you paper should I decide to turn litigious? She says, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to give that information. Just want to inform you we are not the one who canceled the order. I apologize. I know how frustrating this can be. I said, okay. So I ask if you're giving me a hard time and my order magically disappears, I'm going to need to see some proof. She's like, we can't do that. I said, do you wake up and decide I'm going to ruin someone's day or does it just happen naturally? She said, I'm so sorry, Robert. I said, if this was the straw that pushed me over the edge and I decided today was the day to end all the suffering, what percentage of my suicide would be on you? I'm saying about 55%. And then they ended the discussion.
Oh, you should have said, oh, I hope you have a wide suicide.
So who's the piece of shit? Is it me for implying that I'm going to kill myself because this order didn't go through and that it's 100% the DoorDash customer service's fault? Or is it DoorDash for fucking up?
7-Eleven.
Yeah, it is 7-Eleven.
It's not you and it's not Grubhub. Now, should you, yes, for humor's sake, because you like in situations like this, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. I can talk about this on shows. I get why you did it. You knew why it didn't mean fat, but you were already frustrated. You knew you weren't gonna get your food, so you're like, fuck it, I'll have a good time. I get that. I also give the person you dealt with respect because they could have cut it off a long time sooner. They were trying to make sure everything was fine, and they were trying to make sure that you would leave somewhat satisfied, but also leave a trail of, hey, we tried, and let you bury yourself. That's customer service 101. Not say the wrong thing, not swear, whatever. Let you do your thing. But then when you go to a point where they can be liable, like, hey, are you responsible for my suicide? Bail, like you were going to on life. It's 7-Eleven because they, at that point, who the fuck? You're the only person I know, by the way, who's ordering from 7-Eleven. And this is more than one time. We've talked about this before, that you're getting delivery from 7-Eleven. Because at the point you have a half hour, and I know the area that you're at, yes, you don't have much time. You literally could have run to a 7-Eleven type store and gotten something if you hustled and gotten back up there. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
For
And I had
them
a free delivery.
right. No,
Why
and I
not?
understand you. So what I'm saying is, because if you're 7-Eleven, you're like, this guy keeps ordering for us. That's insane that someone is ordering for us. We should make sure this is taken care of. I think they're just kind of like, fuck it. They blow it off and then they message back too late and they're doing whatever they do to be able to have the order handled. And they realize it's going to be free because it's not 30 minutes. And then so this place is just like, fuck it. We're going to say we can't get any drivers. It's got to be on them. Or if I was 7-Eleven, you got enough potheads working there, enough dorks. I would just have somebody hoofing it and running around myself and not even going to the third party Grubhub. If somebody wants to order my shit, run the shit up there. You can make more money. You're a tiny little grocery store. The customer service handled the way they were supposed to. You handled the way a Bobby would. She was not calling you fat. She's not even a she. It's probably some robot that's learned how to respond to things. And it's just like an AI fucking 7-Eleven bot.
We have learned if you fuck with the fat people, they will kill themselves.
Yes, we made COVID to kill them. It didn't get them all, so now we will take away their treats. What did you order from 7-Eleven?
I think it was 2 monsters and some nicotine pouches.
Not even food.
No.
So they didn't think you were fat. Like I thought.
Oh no, I did get a donut too. I got a donut. Yeah,
okay, there you go. Because when you said the part about being fat, I was like, "What is this order? Like how many how many hot dogs off the fucking rack did you get, or fucking like nachos with the cheese sauce?"
I just grabbed some donuts to hit the minimum. Actually, like I didn't even want the donut.
Yeah, you just got things to keep you awake and alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not fat. They probably just thought like, okay, this artesian fuck is gonna be getting all gross anyway. So fuck, they don't need this.
Fucking cocksucker.
And they also realize that there's like, what you ordered doesn't verify a good tip. Yeah, you were probably gonna take care of them, but I'm sure most times if you're getting Monster energy drinks and fucking chew or something, no one's tipping.
No, that's true.
What did Luby get
on 4-4s? She wasn't here.
Oh, you lied.
Yeah, no, I was just pointing out that I didn't think that they were being genuine. I may have asked at some point, how are you a food delivery service without any drivers? Because she was like, we don't have any drivers. And I was like, that's like an amusement park without any roller coasters.
Yeah,
or this is train without trains.
Mean, I know the city's different, but this is during the weekday, right? It wasn't like at night.
Time.
This wasn't like Sunday of the Super Bowl.
No, it was literally peak time on a Monday.
Yeah.
There were fucking hundreds.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry you didn't get the things. I think people should send money to join our Patreon just so you can buy more things.
I would agree with that.
I think so too. I think it's a wonderful. You're not the piece of shit in that story.
No.
You actually, if anything, instead, most people have just been like, "All right, I'll try again later." You're like, "No, I'm going to try to make this so I can read it on a podcast," and I appreciate that.
And I like to think that the customer service worker went home and like told her family about the hilarious guy she dealt with.
Yeah. I don't think that happened.
Or her therapist. Like I
don't think they were your audience. So I'm not sure they find you hilarious.
Based on the fact that they said you're wide understanding.
Right, but you ended it with, "Hey, do you know the blood of my death is on your hands? And you want to know the percentages of said blood?" Like, I don't know if that.
I was just curious.
No,
if I had killed myself though, what do you think would have happened to her?
If you killed yourself?
Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
like left a note that was like, check the Grubhub receipts. And then they went online and were like, dude, this dude said he was going to kill himself and you just hung up on him.
You would have
You-
gotten hired by somebody who wants to kill more people.
Oh, no. I think Grubhub would like institute a whole new training of what to do if somebody gets suicidal on the chat. It would wreak havoc for years to
They would have
come.
read that and seen that you weren't stable. And
That's
then
probably fair too.
what they would have done is turned you into the George Floyd of Grubhub. And then like just done a big thing, like, like some activist fucks, like he got stopped, because all he wanted to do was live his life of having Monster energy drinks and nicotine, and they
A
didn't let
bunch
him.
of fucking Proud Boys out front with tiki
Right.
torches, like, give me Monster, give me death.
Yeah, like a hashtag wide breath or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, it'd be a big. The wide would be involved.
Definitely.
All right. I have a story that's not from now. It's from a couple years ago. But
Okay.
Smokey, fan of the show, and we are more fans of her, I think, than she even is of the show. But
Happy
Smokey,
belated birthday.
yeah, happy belated birthday. She sent me a very funny video. Her child was share. Her daughter drew pictures of their like her and then her father, and it was like the craziest fucking picture because it was just like crazy ass eyes. It was like she just couldn't stop laughing. I need to send this to someone. It was very funny to watch the video, but she shared something on her Instagram where it was just this it was just a picture of an article, and it made me find the article because it was so crazy. But it's from years ago. And the headline is church reverend pictured with crisps on his nipples during 4-day cocaine and ketamine fueled bender. Right. And crisp meaning chips. Like this is obviously an English thing here. Suspended Reverend Paul Flowers was filmed snorting lines as he entertained 4 naked rent boys at a bizarre hot tub party in his back garden. With crisp balanced on his nipples, disgraced ex-cop co-op bank chairman Paul Flowers is caught napping during a 4-day cocaine and ketamine-fueled bender. The drug-loving suspended reverend, nicknamed the Crystal Methodist, which I fucking love. That's a pun. The Crystal Methodist is fantastic. At the height of the scandal that enveloped him 2 years ago, was earlier filmed snorting lines as he entertained 4 naked rent boys, which I don't know what rent boy. I guess it's just like hookers. Is that what a rent?
Is that a
boy?
prostitute? Yeah, or is it actors from the play Rent?
Rent. Maybe it was that. Either way, they had AIDS. At a bizarre hot tub party in his back garden. The disturbing images recorded last weekend reveal Flowers has again fallen prey to his demons. He is still technically a church minister and vowed to change his ways after life-changing rehab. A rent boy who attended the party told how the ex-bank chief, who was in charge of billions of pounds, had sent him invitations texting saying, I have Charlie and Katie, code for cocaine and the horse tranquilizer ketamine. I knew Charlie meant coke, but I did not know Katie meant ketamine. I wasn't hip on that one.
Did you know rent boy is a term that is used to describe a particular type of male prostitute?
What type?
Refers primarily to young men, although its use extends to male prostitutes of all ages who have sex with men. The term originated in Great Britain, Ireland, and New Zealand, and originally was applied to male prostitute who was both young and working class. Middle class and upper class male prostitutes were more commonly referred to as escorts.
Ooh.
And older male prostitutes would have been referred to as hustlers. The rent boy was almost exclusively a street worker who charged low rates for his service.
Makes sense, because if you're older, you do gotta hustle.
What do you think July
you
was?
could just be rented out because you're like, I'm just not doing shit anyway.
Like July would be a rent boy.
Yeah. July was that was a woman, I think.
Or a rent girl.
Rentess. Yeah, Ben Ortiz messaged me a lot about how Valentine's Day makes him sad.
Is there not a hooker to just make out with?
He's also going to get rid of his phone. And I was like, that makes sense. That way you can't take pictures of hookers.
No, he should keep taking pictures of hookers. It's the funniest thing he does.
He got his family mad at him.
I'm just going to say, fuck Ben's family.
Yeah, that's basically what I said to him. I messaged him and said, listen, whatever makes you happy in this crazy world, Ben, you go for it, you fucking crazy ass lady. You do your thing.
Yeah.
The male escort, the article says this, who we are calling Chris, said there were a lot of drugs. He just doesn't seem to care. He just seems out of control. Footage from the party shows Flowers. If you want to look him up, there's a great picture of him shirtless with chips on it. He looks like Frank. Like, dude, he looks a lot like Frank. So, Paul Flowers is his name. At the party, 65, chopping up white powder on a table while chatting to a group of young men. He's later snapped topless and fast asleep in an armchair with two crisps bizarrely balanced on his nipples. So he had him like placed up there. I get probably waiting for rent boys to eat him off or some shit. Flowers admitted he had sinned after he hit the headlines in November 2013. He was filmed in a car counting out €300 to buy cocaine and crystal meth in a drug deal, earning him his nickname, the Crystal Methodist. A few days earlier, he had appealed before a Treasury Select Committee to answer questions about the collapse of the co-op's deal to buy 600 Lloyd's branches. He was accused of not even knowing the very basic details of the bank's finances. And then there's a picture of him doing mad lines of cocaine right under that. Flowers was later arrested on drug charges in 2014, and he was fined €525 after pleading guilty to possession of cocaine, crystal meth, and ketamine at Leeds Magistrates Court. Before his appearance, he told how he had spent 28 days at a rehab clinic tackling his habit in court. His drug use was attributed to the stress of caring for his terminally ill mother. So, when your mom's sick, sometimes you got to do mad lines of coke and fuck boys, sometimes when your mom's sick. He was said to be remorseful and was continuing to seek professional help. Flowers was suspended indefinitely. The church has been unable to resolve his position because he is too unwell to attend meetings. So they can't get rid of. I love that churches can't fire people. Like he's just now. By the way, when you read that, this rent boy mean boy is not underage. It's not pedophile.
Not pedophile, just younger.
Okay, but his
It'd be
pledge
like nubile.
Does that mean child?
Nubile?
I thought that meant child.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I've heard the word, but
I'll be honest with you. I even get creeped out sometimes when the video says teen.
Right. And I've seen in porn, like the niches, it'll say nubile. I'm like, I'm not hitting that. Or Nubian. Either one. I'm not touching. Nubian, nubile, no thanks. Young black boy.
A lot of fun. You ever watch the girls try to read a book on the Sibian?
No. I don't like Sibians.
Why not? Too much Howard Stern.
Yeah. It's 100% that. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's funny you said that. Like, legitimately, I can't hear that word because it was Howard Stern. I don't mind watching someone using toys in real person or fucking on a video, but the Sibian itself seems like it's not even about the sexuality. It's more about the show.
Yeah, and that's why it's fun to watch girls read like philosophy books on it.
Yeah, I haven't done that. Maybe I'll have to look that up. What do you think is the best book to read while doing that?
It's really fun when they read some about like feminist rights.
And like I was hoping like Huck Finn or something.
Oh Jesus!
It's a lot of N-word reading. But his pledge to turn his life around is today supposed as a sham by Chris, who was first taken by a friend to an earlier party. Okay, they go on about this thing. Okay, and then they show him basically breaking a window and jerking off. I don't know. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it our friend, the Crystal Methodist? He's living his life. We just talked a lot about living your best life going through things. Yes, I know he's a minister. Yeah, I know he was also a head of a banks and all these things. But he has these high pressure jobs where the world in different ways is turning to him. And he just wants to let off steam and relax. And he's earned the money and the power to do what he wants to do. He's paying for all the things. He's not stealing. He's not never in there did it say he was taking money from the bank or from the churches and doing these things. He decided with his hard-earned money to do meth or ketamine and coke, like they said. That's why I think I got confused. They said Crystal Methodist because it's funny, but he's not doing meth, so that's kind of fucked up. But is it him for wanting to live his life that way? Is it the rent boy, Chris, for fucking talking to the people? Fuck you, rent boy. This guy is taking care of you and paying you. Is the Daily Mirror paying you? Are they giving you drugs? If they are and they're doing that, then fine. I guess you're just a whore. That's what you really are anyway. But how dare you do that? Is it the banks for being upset going, hey, this guy is not good at being a banker? He's tremendous at it. He can do what he wants. Listen, when you hear about people dealing with high-end money, what do they end up doing? Buying a fuck island and flying people around and doing this shit, weird investments. The more power and money you get of rich people's money, the more you got to have power on them. Once again, didn't hear anything about this guy fucking with other famous people. He was just getting some ass. He just likes to fuck young nubiles or whatever we said it was. Is it the church for not doing more? Like, I don't know what church it is, but the fact they're like, well, he's too unwell for us to talk to. That's when you talk to them, when they're unwell. That's the time they need the intervention from the Lord to save them, whatever he does believe in. If you can tap into it, do that. Maybe he's too ashamed. Maybe they're like, we can't, because he's fucking a lot of boys, but not the boys that we're usually in trouble with. Boys to men, I guess. And it's all going okay for him. Is it them, or is it the Daily Mirror for putting this out there, or is it Smokey for sharing this because she thought the picture was funny and she said, this is how I spend my weekends. And all I thought was, I would like to see that picture way more than this guy. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Bobby.
It's the rent boy.
Chris,
Here's
the
the
rent
thing.
boy.
Which law of Jesus or God did the Reverend break? Which one of those 10 commandments? Because I don't remember don't do drugs being one of the 10 commandments.
Nope. And I don't think any rent boy is a neighbor's wife.
No, exactly. It's
now if they were married.
Yeah, then it would be an issue. Or maybe he wasn't coveting it. Maybe he was disrespecting it. You never know. It just seems like this is an instance again where it's a morality issue, which Jesus didn't really involve himself with as much. Like, there wasn't much in Jesus's teaching other than like, don't fuck kids.
Yeah. And I don't even know if he ever actually said that sentence.
What sentence? Don't fuck kids?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. I paraphrased. There's this whole thing about like children are the future if you fuck with kids or something.
Oh, you definitely shouldn't. I'm just saying it'd be cooler if he said don't fuck kids.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what he actually said?
Right.
He probably said that, and then they had the Nicene Council where
said,
they decided what's going to be in the Bible.
No, I don't. Wasn't he from
Hebrew.
that?
That's not Hebrew. He spoke Hebrew.
Oh, I think he was. No, he was Jewish, but I think he spoke black.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He spoke Hebrew.
A little Ghana action.
I definitely don't think Ghana.
I think Ghana. But I think he said gonorrhea.
Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, and like, I get that you probably shouldn't do drugs, but again, if it's not affecting his ability to do his job, like,
it very much so was. They said that he couldn't do any of his jobs. It was destroying everything.
Well, then maybe he is a piece of shit.
But maybe he didn't want to do his jobs.
Well, then you don't be a reverend. I
agree.
I changed my stance.
Oh, see, no, I agreed with your verse of being the rent boy because of the sentence you just said. If it doesn't affect your job. Now, it might have affected his job, but it took care of your job, Chris. Your job is being a low-end rent boy. This guy's throwing you cash and drugs and said, I've got tons of drugs. I've got money. And I've got some old dick for you, and I've got crisps. Now, out of all that stuff, I'm not a drugs guy. That wouldn't turn me on. I like money, so maybe I'm like, what are we doing? I do like chips.
Who doesn't?
But I don't know if I want to eat them off a man's nipples. But yet again, I'm trying as I get older to be less judgmental. I've never tried it. Maybe the saltiness from a man's nipples kisses with the sea salt from a fucking nice kettle chip. I don't know.
Or maybe the cash he's paying you makes it more palatable. Who knows?
Exactly. And also, I know at this point, how dare I say anything? I'm not a young rent boy. I am a sour queen at this point. I don't think anyone's paying for this.
You're an old hustler.
Oh, I've my hustle. It's got hustle and flow, but more flow than anything else. But I do believe it is the boy. It's the boy or any of them who speak out of turn. You made a pact with this person and it wasn't a problem until you got more fame and you've sold it out. You've now made sure you will never, ever fuck people with power ever again. You've now I hope the Daily Mirror took care of you. I hope you get a reality show because now loose lips sink ships, my friend. And you're no longer going to be one to they're going to go, oh, that motherfucker. Because I know that's not his real name. They're saying we call him Chris. I'm sure in the world of Rent Boys, it's very easy to find out who fucked Chris Powerful Priest Boy Bank Man.
Oi, it's me, Chris the Rent Boy. Welcome to Jackass. Today we're gonna see if I can fit this 14-inch dildo in my ass.
It'd be funny if you go ahead.
Turns out I can.
I was gonna say it'd be funny if we found out this a couple years ago that this guy Chris became like one of those island boys. like that was out of nowhere to turn to. It's like, I'm an island boy. Like, it's one of my favorite videos, by the way, when Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart are watching them, and then Snoop just goes, he goes, gang, gang, and Snoop goes, nope, no, you didn't. Don't you ever gang, gang. You got real fucking serious.
I'm an island boy. Pastor fuck me in the ass.
I was gonna read some stories and stuff, but we've been covering a lot of things. I think I'm just gonna end on this thing because it's not even really a story, and I don't even think there is a piece of shit.
Ooh,
So there is.
I got one thing before we get to that. Then
go ahead.
Just to add a little bit. Is that cool?
Yes.
It's a new movie pitch. It's a Disney movie, and I think you're gonna like it.
I have a real movie pitch, so I'm gonna do that to you afterwards too. I think this is a real thing, and I probably think I'm dumb for sharing it out loud, but I don't care, and I'm going to do it. So you go ahead first.
Mine's a Disney movie, right?
Usually they are.
And recently they opened a pot dispensary across the street from Dick's Sporting Goods, where I work. And basically what's going to happen in the film, have you ever seen the picture of the firefighter who put out the fire on the weed farm? And he's just like smiling and his eyes are super red. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I want there to be a fire, right? And they're like, oh my God, it's too bad. We can't send any of our people in here. They'll get too disoriented too quickly. And then Nick, who's the volunteer firefighter, who's the bike tech at Dick's, is like, wait a second, I have an idea. And they're like, what, Nick? We'll take anything. This is going to be massive if we can't get in there. And he's like, there's this dude at Dick's who I annoy the fuck out of every Saturday with all the fucking details of all of my training and how to put out a fire. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, and he smokes a lot of pot. And they're like, yeah, Nick, but there's no way he smokes enough pot. And Nick's like, no, trust me. He smokes enough pot. And they're like, yeah, but there's no way he knows how to put out a firefighter. And Nick's like, no, you guys don't understand. Every Saturday for his whole shift, all I do is follow him around the fucking store and give him all the gory details of all of our last shifts that he never asked for. I've described dead children on the highway to him that he can't get out of his mind at night, even though he never fucking asked for it. Trust me, this guy could put out a fire. And then I save the day and get super high. And they're like, man, we should let our firefighter smoke pot.
Yeah. But is that a movie?
Yeah, dude, it's a Disney movie. It's me in the fire. At one point, a talking dog shows up. You get it. I'm battling the demons from my past. It's like, it's my cat. It's like, it's me, Zarathustra. You let Molly take me and change me to Winnie because she said Nietzsche was a sexist, even though she's a dumb cunt who doesn't know any philosophy.
You call it the High Tea Ducks. That's your,
I like it.
That's yours to show.
Before I go in, I come out and I put my hand in the pile and I'm like, quack, quack. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
And you can still get Emilio Estevez.
Definitely. And Charlie Sheen.
Yes, they're all in.
And Pete Davidson. He can work with Charlie Sheen because they both have AIDS.
All right, I'm out now. It's Kanye all the way.
It was just an AIDS joke.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but I established
for life.
I established some Team Kanye. I can't
I'll put it out there, dude. I've reached out to Kanye several times to get him on this podcast and was like, hey, man, we just want to give you a platform. We're Team Ye. We got your back. I'll go to SNL if you want. 30 Rock ain't far from here. You want me to sucker punch a Proud Boy? I could do it. No biggie.
I'm in. I'm with you. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to live stream, but if we could, I would do that while we.
This one's for Ye. POS.
Okay. Real movie idea. I don't.
Okay, mine was a real movie idea too, though.
I'm not saying.
I just need to hear you say it was a real movie idea.
I'm not saying you weren't saying that. I'm also saying that mine is one as well.
Okay, just want to make sure.
This is our real movie time moment.
Hear you say that mine was a legitimate movie pitch. That's all, Pat. Before we move on,
these are two movies that, when they're done, they will be talked about on mediocre podcasts, and then one day Bill Schultz will have somebody on to talk about those movies.
He was super nice to me today.
I'm sure he's a wonderful fellow. So you work at a retail store the same way I do. And I don't know, we've talked about this, but we talked about like having the rewards cards or the scorecards or whatever they're called, those cards. Now, if someone doesn't have their card with them, can they still add their card to their account, to their purchase?
Yeah, we don't even give out physical cards anymore.
How do they do that?
phone number or name and address.
Perfect. I was at work the other day. This is where the idea came from. And I'm standing there behind the register as a manager, just doing something else. And I happened to overhear one of the guys at work, who happens to be one of our special needs guys, but like I say special needs, but like high autistic functioning, whatever, just doing his regular job. And a woman was like too busy. She was kind of a pretty woman. She was busy. She was on her phone. She's yelling at her kid, doing whatever. And he asked if she had a rewards card. And she kind of like said, "What? I don't know." And he's like, "Your number for your rewards, please." And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "Your number." And she said to him, and it made me think right away, this is a guy that every time that when I work there, we also have employee numbers. So like if I'm going to buy something, I have to give my employee number so I get my discount.
Same. Yeah.
He never needs to ask anyone's employee number because he's got them all memorized because of the autism. Which my mind went to, what if there's a movie where a woman is killed? And the last thing they know is that she went to this store and maybe had an argument with somebody at the store, and her neighbor works at that store. And everyone keeps thinking it's that guy, but it's not that guy. You find out at the end, someone else who found her and other people, and people start dying. They all happen to go to the store and they're tying it to this one guy, but it ends up being the register guy who memorizes all the phone numbers, because people go up and say my phone number, and he knows it, and he finds them, and then because they wouldn't sign up, and he got in trouble, he kills them. I think you can go way more with it by having that kind of thing where you never see that coming, and it's just the special needs guy who's memorizing the phone numbers, and these people have the cops, everyone doesn't know how anyone would be tying into this, because who would think about when you just randomly give out your phone number?
Oh, that's crazy, dude. I like that movie. That's a good one.
And we can get Emilio Estevez and Steve and Pete Davidson to be in it.
That would be great. Pete's the autistic guy, though.
Yeah, Pete's the hot woman who gets killed by Kanye. That's how it works. Do you care that Snoop Dogg smoked weed before his halftime show?
I'd be pissed if he didn't.
What? How is this a story? I'm not even going to read the whole story, but people are outraged.
It's the same. It's the same thing that people are pissed at Eminem for taking a knee when the NFL told him not to. It's like, that's who Eminem is. It'd be the same thing as if the NFL was like, "Hey, Gino, before you do stand up, you're not allowed to take a knee." You know what Gino would do? He'd take a fucking knee. Like, it wouldn't matter what the issue was for or anything like that. Eminem, I get giving back to the black community and all that, but it's like, that's who Snoop Dogg is. He smokes weed. It's legal in California, which is kind of pussy. It'd be cooler if it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's my point with it. At least what Eminem did, enough people can argue it's a political statement. At this point, smoking weed is no longer a political statement. It literally is the character. It's like why even if he really didn't even smoke, if he'd have to pretend to, or you'd be mad. If you heard he wasn't high, he was crip dancing on top of a fake house in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and he's in his 50s. Of course he's high.
Yeah, it'd be like if Doug Benson did a performance sober.
Yeah. It'd be like if Ron White didn't walk out with a fake glass of booze at this point. He has to. Even though he's not drinking anymore, he has to hold the thing.
Yeah.
What was higher? 50 Cent on that poll. Which, by the way, I don't know why people are giving him shit for being a little heavier. No one's going to be as shredded as he was back in the day.
You know what I'm giving him shit for?
Okay.
Just turn the camera upside down.
Yeah. That's not his call, though.
You're 50
That's not his call.
You've done how many videos choreographed?
But he's not. Okay, but remember, yes, he was a surprise guest. He wasn't advertised. That could have been like a last minute thing. So they used to do what they had to do.
But somebody should have been like, "Hey, I got a much better idea than hanging upside down." That's all.
Oh, you're right.
And the only thing I will say in Snoop's defense about it being a political statement is it's not federally legal. There are a lot of states where it's not legal yet. And so, like, I get him if people were like, "Oh, it's a political message." It's not. Like you said, it's California. It's his
I don't even think he was doing. People just caught a picture of him. He was just getting high before a performance.
Yeah. Who doesn't do that?
I think everyone on that stage did it.
Yeah. You know
I
what?
wish
You can
Kendrick
find-
Lamar got high. I didn't know he was 5'6". He looks so tiny.
He is a tiny dude.
But I didn't realize you can't be that tiny and then dance next to Snoop.
No, Snoop's tall though, which makes it even tougher.
Right.
You got to find Eminem and dance next to him.
But I think my favorite thing is that at one point, 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige had to sit on the couch.
Yeah, it is very funny.
They got tired after 15 minutes.
Yeah, but no, you're just to get back to the point real quick. Like several of my family members sent me this and was like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" And I was like, "Hey, in 2 weekends in Cuyahoga Falls, right before our show, you know what you can find me doing? The exact same thing with a slightly fatter joint."
And, with a lot of comedians that look like Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Dr. J.
That'd be sick.
No, it's not them. They just look like them.
No, I mean this is going to be comedians of the compound, so it's going to be the opposite of that.
Oh.
It's going to look like the group that showed up to be like, and now to give the opposing point of view.
Yeah. And now here's Al Michaels.
Dixon comes out. We love the police.
Yes.
We love the police.
I was gonna say one about NWA and Kumi making a reference, but I'm just gonna let it go.
We all know what you were getting at.
It's N words with Anthony. That's what NWA stands for, and it's just got Larry Bia
Oh fuck!
6 times. Well, this was fun.
And Larry's doing his Scooby Doo thing, where he's like, "Where's the black guy?"
I was like, whoa. He just does a voice. He's like, he's the Black Dave Coulier when they redo Full House.
And then Larry shows up and talks to the venue owner. Is like, "Yeah, maybe we do this with me instead." And then I stop booking all these fellows so I can put women up.
Yeah,
My girlfriend Aaliyah needs a stage. Why would we let all the comedians of the compound who took care of me through the whole quarantine work here? I would rather take the venue from the person whose house I literally get my W-9 sent to and give it to some women.
I didn't even realize that Larry had a girlfriend. I learned of his love.
Oh, well, maybe I just put him on blast. Maybe next time you don't steal fucking shows from the secret show.
Heyo. Secret show is not secret anymore, but I think we did it. This was a good one.
I just want to throw one last thing out there.
Throw it out there.
I know you're recently single, so Louis J. Gomez, I will date you. I would love the free studio time and the feature spots. I'm pretty funny.
You think you'll date Louis J. Gomez? He's got it.
I'm just putting it out there. It seems like he's working his way through the up and coming comedians. So if he wants to take a walk on the wild side, I'm game. I'm an alpha though. You can be my beta.
I don't know if you match up the criteria of type of person he usually dates.
Oh, because I talk on podcasts?
You're funny.
No, Karen Margolis is very funny. I've seen her set. She's actually a very good stand-up.
I've never seen Sam. I just saw that podcast.
Yeah. No, her podcast isn't her stand-up.
No, the one where she did the pilot at the same time I did.
Oh,
and
yeah.
people were actually saying that she was going to get it instead of me.
Then surprise.
She doesn't even have eyelids.
Surprise, it's none of y'all.
Okay, I found it. Well, no, a lot of people got him on other stations. That pilot, if you do a pilot at Compound, you get to show it gas.
That's pretty much how it works. We're like their minor league team.
Yeah, but never me. Always the bridesmaid, never the Karen Margolis. All right. So what do you have to promote and tell people?
I'll be in Chicago with the comedians of the compound. I'll be in other places with them. If you want to see me, text me. Or
now, every time they're doing a comedians compound, you're part of it now?
I mean, I don't even know how much stage time I'll get. Honestly, in Chicago, I'm going more to just make sure the filming goes off without a hitch.
No, but that's still awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Clint Esposito is doing the video. I'm kind of going more just to help and make sure the audio is good.
Oh,
but cool. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, big things coming. So stay tuned and you'll hear more about that in the future.
We all like big things. I like little things too sometimes.
Yeah.
I have little things coming, I think.
My little thing's going to come as soon as we hang up this podcast, if you know what I'm saying.
That's so hot, especially knowing that what we talked about. I want to know what thing turned you on. Because it was a weird show. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just Dave Coulier not being dead. But
say somebody has a rent girl of his own waiting for him that he made the mistake of falling in love with. Anyway, this is the POS show. Pat, tell the people where you're going to be.
Rent love. That's the best kind. Good luck, July. Anyway, I'm not going to be anywhere. I just watched the
This Thursday,
podcast.
you can see Pat, a Mohegan Sun, with your favorites, Frank and Dan.
This won't be out by then. I mean, even if I put it out today, it'll be tomorrow. I don't care.
Thursday in the future, you can see Frank and Dan and Pat.
You can see, maybe not me. I don't care. Comedy, I got to get back at this way. I have so much things to say, but I haven't been performing. I got to, now that I've freed up some time with other things I got in my life, I think I'm going to get back on stage and write some more shit. But right now, you wouldn't want to go see me Thursday. It's just going to be me not giving a fuck, but which is fun sometimes, but whatever. I think you need to focus on the podcast more. People watch this, subscribe to this, go to the Patreon. That's what I ask. And
Fair
subscribe to Compound Media. I want Bobby to keep working. So
that'd be nice.
yeah. If he's not working, then we're just going to have a sadder show. But I think people would like that. And, Frank's not dead. He's fine. I just didn't even ask him to be on this one because we didn't start till 8:30. So he'll be mad we didn't do it. But I'll see Frank tomorrow, and I'll let you know if he's not dead. So, all right. That being said, Bobby.
You can't join him, beat him, and don't be a piece of shit.